inside Al's head. I wrapped up last night kind of early, had some friends coming over, and I was going to go up and basically we were going to visit for a while, then come back down and maybe run another segment or maybe not. Long story short, it went till 2 in the morning because it was fun. So here it is the next day, and I've had this lathe running for a while. I'm going to turn it down because I'm learning that the sound attenuation software in that camera has a tendency to discriminate differently maybe than I would, focus on the wrong. So, as I've said before, this is kludgy. It's not meant to be, it's meant to be informative, but I'm not here to teach you. It's more of, as I just mentioned, a tour inside Al's head. And you know, it's funny, my head is probably different than everyone else's, but I learn things about myself every time I do this, every time I do anything. But this has been fascinating because I've never been on film. I've never done camera work at all. But I'm going to use this to illustrate for a minute that good habits, I've always taught this in I do teach hunter education and my kids, and I've always taught that good habits are as easy to form and as hard to break as bad habits. There's so many things we do habitually in this life, and it's interesting to see how these habits are molded. When I make these videos, then I have to go up and proof them. I have to go up and sit down in my easy chair and look at them and find out how badly I screwed up. Every video I misspeak, I say the wrong things. You know, someday maybe I'll go back and edit those little words in and say I meant to say armadillo when I said aardvark. I don't know. That's not the importance of this, but I saw something this morning that was really funny. I've been carrying 2 phones for years because I've got a telephone and then I've got that stupid little square box that helps me find places because it holds the lady and it helps me find information, and it's a handy thing. I don't like to use it as a phone. But for years my phone goes here and my Tard phone goes here. And I'm editing these videos and I'm seeing myself walking around. It might not editing these videos, just viewing them. Might not even be this series right now because I'm wearing this heavy coat. You can't see my phone. But in some of the footage that I've got, I see myself and I have this mental image of myself walking around. I see my phone sticking out of my pocket, and this is the funniest thing. This morning I'm dressing up to come back down. I'm trying to, you know, costume up so I'm in a similar attire as I was when this video left off, just in the interest of continuity. And I'm trying to put my phones in the wrong pockets. Well, this is one of those habitual things. It's like the wallet goes here and the watch goes here, and I'm putting my wrong phone here. And I realized almost immediately that it's because I've been seeing myself on camera. All of my life prior, I've only seen myself in the mirror. So our brain is a funny thing. It trains us, and this is why I try to train even now to stay away from the chuck, stay away from doing silly things. It looks here in the foreshortening of the camera like I'm close to the chuck. I'm not that close to it. I will try and I will fail, but I believe that the safety issues from running this equipment are very important. I think that they should need to be addressed. Just because I'm showing lathe work on the internet and I'm a cubby and I'm you know, there's going to be people watching this, from folks who've never fired a gun to folks who shoot a lot but don't understand how the gun goes together or why guns shoot well or don't. This is what I'm trying to pass on as my findings in this regard. I started building this little series for a guy who builds guns for a living. And I have to be careful with where my head is. That's why I said this is a little tour inside my head and the way I think, because I'm trying hard to make something that's not so intimately aimed at a specific segment of people that it makes no sense to anyone else. not in the interest of YouTubery, not in the interest of increasing viewership, because I see this stuff all the time. How to make a good video? First you gotta get the viewership, gotta get the money, no. It's not what this is about at all. This is specifically about the fact that I've seen so much, and it's so funny because the other thing is so many people come at things from so many views. I mentioned earlier in this series about, well, you know, if Jamie Clarkson, or if, I made a reference to Jeremy Clarkson going into the Mekong with a Che Guevara shirt on, which is a pretty bold political statement to throw out to the world. But the thing that fascinates me, a lot of times I won't even click on a news story. I'll see the story, I'll see the headline, and I know what the news story is about, and I know where it's going to go. But I go to the bottom and I start reading people's comments, people's dissertations. This Jeremy Clarkson thing was fascinating to me because he did something that, and I'm going to use the term normal people, because like me, Jeremy Clarkson's not normal. And glory be. It's the only reason I enjoy watching the guys, getting inside the guy's head a little, sharing his life with him via the shows that he's put on. But going to read the comments and the 20 or 30 articles that referenced what he did, because he's a big star. He's a guy that when he, I was going to say something kind of rude, and they smell it all over the world, but okay, when he burps, they hear it all over the world. And they talk about, well, why did he burp? Because he ate some food and he developed some gas, you know. But he did this thing, he wore a shirt into the Mekong Delta, and watching the people on the internet, in the articles and in just the comments, try to understand why he did it. What was he saying? Why did he say it? There is a certain segment of the population that's going to get nothing from my videos, and these are the anti-Trumpers. These are the haters that can't get around their feelings. And I'm sorry, you liberal git that's never built anything, done anything, screwed up or not, because you're so scared of failure that you won't go build something because you're so inadequate that you can't pound a nail into a board without bending it. That's not what this is. This is for that segment of the population that actually does go hands-on build things. And I'm going to screw up. I'm going to... it's warts, feathers, and all. And that's the intent of this, to show that there's no... I don't even have editing software, as I've said over and over right now. So we're going to resume on this, where we left this. The barrel was kind of dialed to a center line that was on the outside on both ends. And in fact, on the other end, I went so far as to run a little pilot inside the bore, and I ran a large plunger type dial indicator onto that. So that end is within a thou or two, and this end is within a thou or two. On the OD in this case, on the ID on that end, we're roughed in. Hopefully I've run the lathe long enough prior to this. I came in and got set up, and hopefully I ran it long enough that I've got some warmth into it, because I have the same dilemma again this morning. I've got heaters running. One of them's down there behind the camera. Hopefully it doesn't just melt everything in the camera, but it's just a little heater. It's not going to melt much of anything. Behind me, you can probably see it. Okay, there we go. There's a heater running here. Oh, heating up the corners of the lathe, going to bend it like a banana. Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to get the play out of the headstock, and doing it in this artificial environment makes it a little bit harder. But I just want to comment on the fact that it's teaching me something, which I don't care if you care or not. Like I said, this is my head. Welcome or go away. And I just want to clarify and free up all those people that find this offensive. The people, the non-builders. I used the term liberals. I'll try to not use it again, but that's not the point. There's two kinds of people in the world. Those that know Die Hard was a Christmas movie, and those that are wrong. So, there. I know that's hackneyed, but the point, I'm just looking for a way to... I need to stop now, and get a little bit more reset going here, and then we're going to show you, we're going to try to find, or not find, a correlation between the gritter's method inside, which we started on in the prior segment, the Gordy's method inside, and these dialings we got on the outside. So I'll see you in 30 seconds here when we get some stuff moved around.